Hello everyone. My name is Shashi Walia and welcome you all on my YouTube channel Curious Physics. Today I am going to start the second lecture of the first chapter of your NCERT book, and the name of the chapter was electric charges and fields. In this particular chapter we will study the concept of electric field, which is basically the extension of your Coulomb's law, which shows the magnitude as well as the direction of the force between two particular charges. Okay, so one more thing, you have celebrated your Diwali festival, I hope, very well, but this is high time to start your board preparations. So let's start without wasting any time. The topic is electric field. Electric field is basically the extension of Coulomb's law. In this particular, if you remember that in Coulomb's law, every time if you want to find a force between two charges, you have to solve all the time a particular formula. But in case of electric field, you will find that if you know the electric field at a particular point, you can easily find the force by multiplying the charge at particular place with the electric field. So the electric field is basically the force experienced by a unit positive test charge when placed at that particular point. It is basically, the idea is the electric field, the definition is okay, but the conceptual clarity should be there. It is basically the influence, or you can say the impact of a charge on a particular point. For example, if Q is a charge and you can say Q is a source charge, and small q is a test charge. Okay, if according to the Coulomb's law, for example, R is a distance between these two charges. According to the Coulomb's law, the force between these two charges, and we know the direction, if the polarity of the charges is same, then the force on a test charge is force of repulsion. Then according to the Coulomb's law, the force will be kq by r square, and you know the direction. This is the magnitude of a Coulomb's law. But if you place another q charge at a distance r in another direction, for example, this particular charge is placed at this particular point r, then you will experience the same force at same distance, equal distance from the larger charge, you can say the source charge. You will experience a same charge at a same distance, experience the same force. So for example, if we remove this charge from this particular point, then what will remain behind? So this particular concept gives the idea of electric field. Are you getting my point? So we defined a particular vector quantity, that is electric field. This force per unit charge is equal to kq by r square, and in vector form, you know already, will kq r unit vector r cube, and r is the position vector, and you know that. But here the idea is how to understand the concept of electric field. Are you getting my point? So saying the units of electric field are Newton per Coulomb. These are the units of electric field. Okay, if at that particular the equal distances are, if the value is same, then you can say it is the three-dimensional property. Three-dimensional Three-dimensional property. Three-dimensional property means in every distance from this Q source charge, in every direction, the value of electric field is same. For example, if this is Q charge, in every r distance, in everywhere, the value of electric field will be same. The value of electric field will be same. So that's why it is a three-dimensional property. For increase your understanding, and another point, the electric field from a positive charge is toward outward direction, and for negative charge it is inward direction, yeah, toward negative charge. Are you getting my point? For a positive charge, electric field is outward, because you can say you are comparing it with the force of repulsion, and in case of negative charge it is inward, in a somewhat down the line you are comparing it with force of attraction. This is not the 100% true, but for increase your understanding I am saying this. So whenever there is a wherever there is a positive charge, the electric field will in the outward direction, and for a negative charge it will be in inward direction. Are you getting my point? It's a very important feature of charges, that is electric field. Because if you know electric field at a particular point, then you have to just multiply a smaller charge Q with the electric field to get the force. But in case of Coulomb's law, you have to always apply Coulomb's law at a particular point. So this is basically more or less easier way to show the effect of forces, or you can say the force between the two charges. Okay, but another point here, the smaller charge also have an impact on larger charge, that is source charge. To reduce the effect of this particular test charge, the Q is very greater than the source charge, is very greater than test charge, to reduce the impacts of test charge on source charge. Okay, this is basically the idea behind the electric field, the concept of electric field. Next is basically what I have discussed, just the theory portion. Electric field due to a point charge Q at a point in space may be defined as the force that a unit positive charge, or you can say the force per unit charge, would experience if placed at that point. The force per unit charge defined as electric field. Electric field due to Q defined operationally in terms of some test charge is independent of Q, because electric field is equal to force per unit charge. So electric field is independent of Q. For a positive charge, the electric field will be directed radially outward from the charge, and opposite for negative charge, it is towards radially inward. Since the magnitude of force F on the charge Q due to depends only on R of the charge Q from the charge Q, it only depends upon R. Electric field is equal to the, first of all, KQ by R square, the magnitude of Q and distance R. So the formula for electric field for a source charge is KQ by R square. For a point charge, KQ by R square. Are you getting my point? Next is electric field due to system of charges. It is somewhat like the superposition principle, as we have discussed in case of Coulomb's law. The forces due to on a charge due to multiple charges. So here you have to find the electric field at a particular point due to multiple charges. The same, you have to add the electric field on a particular point vectorially. You have to follow the vector algebra. Why? Because electric field is a vector quantity and electric field is a vector quantity. Why? Because force is a vector quantity. So here, for example, a point P is there, and 3 4 charges are there. For example, q1 is there, q2 is there, q3 is there. You have to find the electric field. For example, this particular distance is r1p, this particular distance is r2p, and this particular distance you can say r3p. So these are basically the vectors. So you have to find the electric field at particular point P. So simply you can say, if Q1 is a positive charge, then electric field due to Q1 in this direction, due to Q3 in this direction, and Q2 is somewhat in this direction. So you have to just add, same as you have added the force on a charge. So here the net electric field at point P is E1 plus E2 plus E3. This is basically the net electric field. You have to just apply the formula. E1 will be K Q1 by R1P whole cube into R1P unit vector to show the directions. And for magnitude, it will be simply KQ1 by R1P whole square plus KQ2 plus KQ3 whole cube R3P. Simple. These are the units vector to show the direction. This is the E net. E net on point P is simple. This is also a type of, you can say this is the superposition principle. This is also the superposition principle. I hope you are getting my point. Simply you have to add all the electric fields on a particular point due to all the charges and then add them vectorially. Okay. This is basically the electric field due to system of charges at a particular point. Okay. In case of n number of charges, you have to find all the electric fields and add them vectorially. Okay. Next is electric field lines. Electric field lines, these are basically imaginary lines to understand the concept of electric field at a particular place. At a particular place, you have to understand how to construct electric field. So for example, field lines start from positive charge. Electric field lines, these are the imaginary lines to understand the electric field at a particular point. These are imaginary lines. These are basically man-made construct to understand the concept of electric field. Okay, so that next is electric field lines. Electric field line, this is purely a theory portion. The main is the understanding point, the conceptual clarity. If you have understand the concept of electric field, then how to construct electric field at a particular point, and that construction, or you can say if you want to show the electric field at a particular point, you can use the concept of electric field lines. So field lines start from positive charges and end at negative charges. If there is a single charge, they may start or end at infinity. So for example, if there is a positive charge, this is a positive charge, then the electric field lines for a positive charge will be in radially out. If there is no negative charge nearby, this is the simply if there is no charge, other charge nearby. And in case of negative charge, if there is a negative charge, just the arrow will change in this direction. This will be the electric line. This will be the one more thing. The electric field lines also known as electric line of forces, because here the direction of electric field and direction of electric force will be same. In case of positive charge, the force will be force of repulsion. Force of repulsion. In some books, electric field lines also known as electric line of forces. So at that particular, why there is line of forces? Because the net electric field and the direction of a net electric force is same. That's why electric line of forces. If there is a positive charge and negative charge, then how will you make the electric line of forces or electric field lines? Then electric lines start from positive and end in negative. So this kind of situation. This kind of thing. Away from positive and toward negative. This. Here, this away. Sorry, this and this toward negative charge. So in this way you can draw the electric lines. In a charge free region, electric field lines can be taken continuous curves without any breaks. Okay? In charge free region, lines are continuous because due to the concept of the basic properties of electric charge, the one property was the quantization of charge, and the basic charge is very small. In a particular area, there is so many numbers of small charges. So at that particular point, the effects is a continuous curve, not the curves with breaks. Not the curves with breaks. Are you getting my point? Next is, two field lines can never cross each other. Two electric field lines never cross each other. Why? Because if they cross each other at a particular point, there will be two directions of a net electric field, but at a particular point only one direction or one magnitude will be possible. So that's why electric field lines never cross each other. Electrostatic field lines do not form any closed loop. They never form closed loop. They start from positive and end in negative. Closed loop means if this is positive and this is negative, from here and start from negative to here. This is the example of closed loop, but electrostatic field lines do not form any closed loop. The reason is somewhat very interesting. Reason is electrostatic force is a conservative force. Remember this point. Electrostatic force is a conservative force, and the work done by electrostatic force will not depend on a path. It just depends on the initial and final position. You can understand this point. I think it's in your 4th or 5th chapter of class 11th book, where you will understand the concept of conservative and non-conservative force. So if electrostatic force is a conservative force and it make a closed loop, then in a closed loop the work done will not be zero. But electrostatic force is a conservative force, the work done should be zero. So to avoid this contradiction, the physical significance is they never form closed loop. If they form closed loop, the work done will not be equal to zero. But for a conservative force, it should be zero. So that's why electrostatic forces never form a closed loop. Are you getting my point? So these are the basic 4 points you should remember for electric field line. This is basically the example of, this is not positive, this is negative. If two positive charges, or you can say two same charges, are placed at a particular point, and if the same polarity of charge is placed at a particular point, they experience the force of repulsion. So here, this particular point, there will be no electric field, or you can say no electric field lines, because they experience the force of repulsion. If so, the arrow should be outward. Always outwards. And if you place two negative charges at that, in place of these positive charges you have to place, then everything will remain same, but the direction of arrows will reverse. I hope you are getting my point. Next is two opposite polarity charges. The arrow's direction should be in this direction, towards this. So here the direction will be like this. Start from positive, end in negative. These 2 points you should understand very clearly. Are you getting my point? So if the charge is placed alone, then it will form a straight line, and that straight line ends in infinity, and two charges are placed of same polarity, they form this kind of field line, and opposite polarity, they form this kind of field line. Okay. Next is, so the next main topic is electric flux. But before understanding the concept of electric flux, the main topic is area vector. What is area? You all know what is area. For example, for a circle of radius r, the area is pi r square. For a square of side a, the area is a square, and so on. For a sphere, the surface area is 4 pi r square, having radius r. But here, in physics, to understand many issues, to understand many concepts, the area will be considered as a vector quantity. It means it has magnitude as well as direction. So direction, to understand the concept of direction, is always perpendicular to the surface. And here surfaces are two types. Surfaces are of two types. One is open surface and other one is closed surface. Open surfaces, for example, you have all the 2D surfaces, and closed surfaces you have all the 3D surfaces. Open surfaces like circle, square, rectangle, and 3D you had sphere, cube, cuboid, and for example a cone or a cylinder. These all are basically the closed surfaces. In 2D surfaces, the area vector can be taken two types, two sides. For example, if this is a sphere of radius r, then area vector can be taken perpendicular to the surface in upward direction as well as in downward direction. Of radius r, for upward direction the value will be, if upward direction is j, pi r square j cap, and for lower pi r square minus j cap. But if you choose, you have to choose one direction in a particular question and stick to that particular direction in throughout the question. But in case of 3D, it is always in outward direction. Outward direction. For example, here, the area vector is in outward direction, always outward direction and perpendicular to the surface. So that is all about area vector. Area vector is always outward for 3D, and in open surfaces you have a choice. But you have to choose one direction and stick to that particular direction throughout your question. Okay, are you getting my point? Next is another form to understand the electric field. The concept is electric flux. Electric flux basically is the number of electric field lines, or you say electric field passing through an area, This is basically electric flux. But electric flux is denoted by phi, and it is the dot product of, this is E dot dA, this is basically the dot product or scalar product of E and A, which can be written as A cos theta, and theta is the angle between electric field and area vector. And in the previous section, area vector is always perpendicular to the surface. These are the example here. Electric field direction is outward, and if this is the surface, then area vector is perpendicular to the surface. So here the theta is 0. Here the theta is 0, and in this particular case the electric flux will be EA cos 0 1, so E into A. Are you getting my point? But you have to multiply electric field into area and angle between, cos of angle between electric field and area vector. Here this is particular electric field and this is area vector. This is area vector. Then the theta is, this is theta, the angle between electric field and area vector, which is perpendicular to the surface. Are you getting my point? So here the flux, electric flux, is a scalar quantity, and its units are E into A, E Newton per Coulomb area meters. Okay. It is basically the electric field or the number of electric field lines passing through an area. This is your electric flux. For example, if I take an example of a sphere of radius r, and electric field lines, two cases. Case 1, for example, this. Here the electric field is this, and area vector is again perpendicular to the surface. So phi will be, here the theta will be 0, and electric flux is E into pi r square. Are you getting my point? So concept of area vector should be in your mind to understand the concept of electric flux. Next is an example, which is an electron falls through a distance of 1.5 centimeter in a uniform electric field of magnitude this particular figure. The direction of the field is reverse, keeping its magnitude unchanged, and a proton falls through the same direction. Compute the time of fall in each case. Contrast this situation with that of free fall under gravity. In first case, the direction of electric field, I said the positive to negative direction. If electron is falling from the negative side, then the negative charge will repel it and it will move in this particular direction. Are you getting my point? And the charge on the electron and proton is okay. Here the electric field is value of electric field is 2 into 10 raised to power 4 Newton per coulomb, and mass of electron, you know, mass of electron is I think 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg, and charge on electron, you know, 1.6 minus into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. If E is electron, then force on this particular electron, force experienced by electron, you know, electric field into charge, electric field E into E, Q into E. The value of E is, now we know the direction, 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 into 2 into 10 raised to power 4. So here we can say that the acceleration is force per unit of force by mass 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 into 2 into 10 raised to power 4 divided by 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31. So here you can compute the acceleration, and from the equation of motion of uniform acceleration, you know that the displacement is ut plus half at square. So here the initial speed is 0. We have get the value of acceleration, and what is the question is compute the time. The time, here the u is 0, this particular quantity is 0, s is, the value of s is 1.5 centimeter, mean to say that 1.5 into 10 raised to power minus 2 meters, half a, the value of a is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 into 2 into 10 raised to power 4 divided by 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 into t square. So the t will be under root 1.5 into 10 raised to power minus 2 into 2 into 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 into 2 into 10 raised to power 4, and the value will be time of electron, you will get 2.9 into 10 raised to power minus 9 seconds. In the same way, time of fall of proton, here you have everything will be same, but in case of 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31, you have to write the mass of proton, and the mass of proton will be 1.67 into 10 raised to power minus 27, because, and the charge is same, everything will be same, and here the electric field is reversed, then it will again fall towards the downward direction. So you have to just change here, in place of 9.1 into 10 raised to power minus 31, you have to write 1.67 into 10 raised to power minus 27. Then you will get the value, I think the answer will be 1.3 into 10 raised to power minus 7 second, and the last question will be compute the time of fall in each case contrast situation with the free fall. If you get the acceleration here of, for example, proton, then the value acceleration will be simply, not in case under root, you have to just apply the formula. You have to apply this formula. This is the acceleration, but in case of proton, you have to write the mass of proton, and the acceleration of proton 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19, charge is into electric field 2 into 10 raised to power 4, this is basically the force, and the mass is 4 and proton 1.67 into 10 raised to power minus 27, and you will get the answer. I think for acceleration is 1.9 into 10 raised to power 12 meter per second square. And this is very large as compared to G, which is 9.8 into 10 raised to power minus 9.8 meter per second square or 10 meter per second square. But here this particular acceleration due to this particular electric force is way greater than 9.8. So you can say that the force between the electric force is very large as compared to gravitational force. So this is how to solve this particular question. Interesting, easy one. But next is another one. The 2-point charges Q1 and Q2 of magnitude this and this respectively are placed at point 1 apart. Calculate the electric field at point A, B and C. So electric field is a vector quantity. You have to understand here. You have to basically write the magnitude but with direction. Direction. So you have to follow the vector law of vector addition. You have to add the electric field vectorially. Yeah. So for example, first is at point A. If I see at point A, the electric field due to this negative charge is toward the basic property of electric line of forces toward negative charge, and from this Q1 it is toward again away. So here the electric fields will add. The arrow shows the direction and the magnitude. We know the formula KQ by R square. So at particular EA will be K. The value of K is for example, okay, due to minus Q2 the value is K, charge is 10 raised to power minus 8 and the R is 0.05 meter whole square. For positive charge K, again value is 10 raised to power minus 8 and distance is same, 0.05 in whole square. So value will be, in place of K will put 9 into 10 raised to power 9, and at point A you will get your answer as 7.2 into 10 raised to power 4 Newton per Coulomb. Always remember the units. Units at point B. Now, due to this positive charge Q1 charge, the electric field will in this direction, and due to this negative charge is toward negative charge, but the net electric field is away from B. The direction is this, away, because here the dominance shown by the Q1 charge, because it is near from the point B. So the net electric field due to at point B due to Q1 and Q2. So here K charge is 10 raised to power minus, and in case of Q1 distance is 0.05 whole square minus, direction is opposite direction, K charge is same, but here the now the distance is 0.05 plus 0.05 plus 0.05, so answer will be 0.15 whole square, and you will get after solving 3.2 into 10 raised to power 4, 3.2 into 10 raised to power 4 Newton per Coulomb. Now at particular point C, now look at this particular point C, you have to basically understand how to write the electric field. Here the direction is not in same or in opposite, have a particular angle, and the angle is 120 degree. Angle is 120 degree. And you know that if you know the two vectors E1 and E2, yeah, AD, and they have a particular angle theta between them, then the value of resultant is A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Here theta is 120 and A is the value of electric field in this direction and other one is in this direction. So you will solve this, you will get your answer. Another way, you can do it by the components. You can do it by the components. So here, for example, if this angle is 60 degree, obviously this angle will be 60 degree. This will also 60 degree. This will also 60 degree. Are you getting my point? So the horizontal component will add here, the horizontal at EC, the horizontal component will add and vertical component will cancel each other. Because the value of E to C is same because the distance is same. So here the value will be E sin theta and direction is here is E sin theta. So these two will cut each other because the direction is opposite, and the horizontal component will add. And the horizontal component will be the value of electric field is both the cases. Value of electric field is Q1 charge is K 10 raised to power minus 8. Distance is I think 0.1 whole square cos of 60 plus K 10 raised to power minus 8 0.1 whole square cos of 60, and cos of 60, you know, cos of 60 is 1 by 2. Cos of 60 is 1 by 2, and from here the answer will be 9 into 10 raised to power 9. Write it, 9 into 10 raised to power 9 into 10 raised to power minus 8 divided by 0.1 whole square, and the answer will be 9 into 10 raised to power 3. 9 into 10 raised to power 3 Newton per coulomb. This will be your answer. I hope you are getting my points. So you have to understand the electric field is a vector quantity. So this is all about my side. Okay, so this is high time to start your preparation for your board exams. Okay, in next lecture we will discuss the concept of dipoles and start the Gauss law. Okay, so thank you so much. Take care.